Hi everyone. I'm going to show you how to create a strange and surreal landscape for you to place your hybrid animal in. We're going to create something that's bizarre and strange, that juxtaposes or combines unlikely aspects of different landscapes together. So, first thing you need to do is find your 3 or 4 different parts of a landscape. It could be the sea, it could be a night sky, it could be the galaxy, it could be a cloudy sky, it could be the surface of the moon, and also what you might find in that sky, like, birds or clouds or hot air balloons or things like that. So I found 3 images that I'm going to combine, and I'm going to show you how to combine them. So the first thing we're going to do is open up those images. So I'm going to go to open, and I've just put mine in my folder called my hybrid. So I've got an image of the Earth, which I shall open. Then up here, I'll go to File, Open again. And I have Galaxy. And I've chosen large images so that they don't pixelate. So these are all very big, at least 1,000 pixels across. And I've also found some hot air balloons, which I've chosen because of the clarity, the clarity of the edge. So they're going to be really easy to cut out and then, assemble on my landscape. Okay, so once we've got those 3 open, I'm going to create a blank document. It's going to be an A4 document. So I'm going to go File, Open, or rather File, New. And I'm going to click A4, and I'm going to call this one Surreal Landscape. So it's the resolution is 300. I don't need a white background, a transparent background. I'm just going to keep it on RGB. So leave that, which just is basically a coloured background, or a white background, which will accept colour. Okay, so now I'm going to assemble my landscape. So the first thing I'm going to do, and you may have noticed this already, is I don't have tools. It often happens on my version of landscape. So we need to make sure we've got everything we need. And we only really need 3 things. Okay, from the window, we need our tools. We need our layers, which I've already got checked, and also history. Makes it so much easier to correct mistakes. Okay, so I think I'll start off with my galaxy. I could probably select this whole image and put it down. There's nothing I want to remove. So I'm going to go Command A or Control A, which means select all, okay? And then I'm going to go Command C or Control C to copy it. And then up here, I'm going to go back to my blank document, and I'm going to click Command or Control V. Okay, Control if you have a PC. Okay, so I can move that around. It's quite small. So to make it larger, I'm going to go Command T or Control T if you have a PC. And I'm going to sort of stretch it. I actually want it to take up the whole space, everything. So I might just put that there. And you'll see why in a minute, because I'm going to put some of my earth on this as well. So I'll click Enter. Then I go up here to my tabs, and I'm going to find Earth. Now, I purposely selected this because the background is really easy to remove. It's just a solid color. Okay, so it's quite easy to select the moon, and I'm going to show you a little trick. I could use the magnetic lasso, and that would work perfectly. But I can also select the sky and then select its inverse, so I can select the moon. So watch this, guys. I'm just going to, I think I've selected too much. So I'm going to go up here and remove some. Okay. All right. So when you use the quick selection tool, you have options up here to get rid of stuff that if you selected too much, you can get rid of it, or you can even add to it. So you can add to your selection. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select inverse, and that means to select the opposite. I'm going to show you how to do that. So we go select inverse. Now I've just got the moon selected, and that is all I want. Okay, so Command C, because I've got a Mac, and then I'm going to go back to my document and click Command V. Okay, and there's my moon. Easy. And I'm going to just sort of move it down here. I'm going to Command T. I actually want it to look like it's quite big and that it's sort of, yeah, just down quite close. So maybe there. So, I could have a little play with this and move it around. Okay, actually don't mind it there. Okay. And now I'm going to get those hot air balloons. So, okay, so now I'm just going to get my magnetic lasso and carefully trace around a few of these balloons. And once I've traced one, I can then copy the selection and then paste it onto my document. So Command C, and then back to my A4 document, Command V. Okay, so I can move that around as well. Okay, so I've been very busily adding my balloons. I've noticed that I've got a little bit of an error here. I've picked up some of the sky. So don't forget, you can use the eraser if you want to tidy things up, So just make sure you're on the balloon layer and you can rub things out to make them look neater. Or you can get your magic wand and even just select that and delete it. Okay, so you can do all that. Everything that you've learnt up to now will come in handy for doing this sort of thing. So there we go. There's my background. I'm quite happy with that. And I'm now going to save it. I'm going to save it as a JPEG. So File, Save As, JPEG. So I'm going to save it on my computer, and it's called Surreal Landscape. Okay, in my hybrid folder, I'm just going to click on JPEG. Okay, click Save and OK. And now I'm going to open up my hybrid and insert this JPEG into it. So I'm not going to insert the Photoshop file, which has lots of layers, and you'll find that if you try to copy and paste it, you will only copy one layer at a time. So I'll just show you what I mean. So we'll go File, Open, and I'm going to open up my hybrid animal, which I made earlier on, and it's a PSD file. It has to be the PSD file because the PSD file has a transparent background, okay? Don't open up the JPEG. That's really important. So I'm going to click Open. Okay, there I go. And oops, I just accidentally got rid of my tools. All right, so you can see I've got a blank background. Now I can actually insert my background that I just made. So I'm going to go File, Open, and I'm going to open up the JPEG, okay? Because the JPEG doesn't have any layers, okay? It's nice and easy to move around. I click Open, okay? You can see there's no layers. I'm going to select the whole thing, Command A. I'm going to copy it, Command C, And then I'm going to go back to my sort of my hybrid, and I'm going to paste it on. Okay. And now I'm going to rearrange my layers so that my landscape is underneath my hybrid. So if you have a look at the layers, the actual landscape is covering everything. Just going to drag it underneath, and there you go. I now have a hybrid animal that appears to be swimming in a sea, in a galaxy sea. Okay. One more thing. What if I want to move my hybrid? How do I do that without moving only one thing at a time? So I could, you know, if I try to move it, it just moves one layer at a time. So what you can do is link all these layers. So that's one more trick for you to learn. So I'm going to shift click all the layers that I want to link. Okay, and then down here, there's a little link icon. Now, can you see that looks like a little chain? I'm going to link those layers. So now I can move my animal around any way I want. I could also make it smaller or bigger. I actually want it to be quite large because, you know, when it comes time to paint it, it's not going to be fiddly to paint, and it will be the main subject of my painting. Okay, so you want to keep your animal quite large. So if it's not big, you can enlarge it at this stage right now. So then there we go. Click enter. And now I'm going to save that as a JPEG. I'm also still going to save it as a Photoshop file. I always do that because sometimes I go back and I change things around. I think, you know what, I wish I moved this layer here and that layer there. Okay, and you can't move anything unless you keep the Photoshop file too. So keep both files. Okay, so now it's time to save it. So it's really important we give it a new name because you don't want to save over your original animal. If you don't give it a new name, it will just save over your original. Okay, so it's important that you give it a new name, and you can call it my hybrid in a landscape. And I'm just going to keep my name there as well, because we do want to keep our names on our work. Okay. We click save and okay. And now I'm going to save it again, this time as a JPEG. JPEGs are really handy for two reasons. Okay, let's go to JPEG first. They're very handy for two reasons. The first one is you can insert this into your Google Visual Arts diary, for starters. You can upload it on Canvas, which is what I would like you to do once you're finished. That's the second thing. Actually, there's three. And the third one is that when I download them, I can actually print them off on our school printer, and the school printer will recognize what it is. Whereas if I try to send a Photoshop file to the printer, it doesn't know what it is. It will not recognize that. Okay, so, you know, have fun with that and enjoy. Great. Thank you. Bye.